Find a Way. And so I want to start out by telling you about how I came up with that title. Just moving this stuff out of my way. I was in boxing training. And that didn't turn out very well in the end. I got in the ring and realized hitting other people and having other people swing at me really wasn't how I wanted to spend my life, even in fun. But the training was great. And so I got in the ring with the trainer, and all he was doing was bobbing and weaving. And he'd say, "Hit me." And I'd swing at him, and I'd miss. And he'd go, "Find a way." And I kept swinging, and I kept missing. I mean, I kept missing until I was exhausted. And he wasn't even swinging at me. He wasn't even protecting himself. All he was doing was bobbing and weaving, and all I'm doing is trying to hit his head, and he just keeps moving, and I keep missing him until I'm exhausted. And all he keeps saying is, "Find a way, find a way, find a way." So I come back the next time. And we go through, and before you get in the ring, you go through all this other training. You lift weights, you hit the bag, all these different things. They put you through this. So you're pretty exhausted by the time you get in the ring anyway. And then they want you to go 3 rounds because boxing is not just about how hard you can punch. You've got to have a physicality that is just unbelievable in terms of endurance. I mean, I had no idea how long 3 minutes was until you get in the ring and try to hang in there for 3 minutes. So the next day I'm in there and I'm swinging at him again. And I'm swinging at him and I keep missing and I keep missing. And all he's saying over and over again is, "Find a way, find a way, find a way." Over and over. And I keep hearing that in my head until finally it starts sinking in. Find a way. And as it's sinking in, all of a sudden, I start seeing him slow down. Now, he wasn't. He's bobbing and weaving as fast as ever, but something happened in me. And then all of a sudden, bam, I hit him. And he's like, "Good, do it again." And then it took me forever to hit him a second time, but finally I did. And slowly but surely, I started getting a different timing. My whole being kind of shifted around being able to recognize smaller movements in what he was doing so that I was finally able to hit him quite often to the point where he finally started swinging back. He didn't show me, he didn't say, "This is what you have to do to hit me." All he kept saying was "Find a way." And I'm sitting in class in my, what I've renamed the Rise Up Club on Thursdays, and I was asked, "Give me something practical. How do you do this? How do you do this besides just telling me to practice?" And I say, "Find a way." It doesn't matter what you try. It just matters that you keep at it until something actually works. Now, what am I talking about now? I'm talking about our consciousness. I'm talking about creating our lives. Find a way. You come here and we go over these great, incredible tools. Dr. Holmes said, "Change your thinking, change your life." But for anybody who's been doing this for any length of time knows it's not that simple. It's not that easy. And it's not that simple. Change your thinking, change your life. But that's a great starting point. And so I've been doing this, I don't know, now I'm going on 25 years, I guess. And I'm still looking at the different ways in which I find a way. I find a way to make my life be that identity prayer, to be in that place of peace, poise, and power, to be health, to not just have health, but be health. And so when we're looking at how to use these principles in a way that works, here's what finally shifted for me. Dr. Holmes has this incredible quote: "Transformation does not rectify, it transmutes." Now, the first time I heard that quote, I was like, what the heck does that mean? What does it mean? Does not rectify, transmutes. So I started looking at that quote. I started diving into it because something about it I knew was really, really important. And that's when I realized that what he was talking about was the idea that if we're going about using spiritual mind treatment to fix stuff, to fix our lives, we're not getting anywhere. That it's only when we rise up that it finally transmutes into transformation. Now, this is a huge difference because most of us go into treatment when things aren't going so well to fix it because we want it better, right? Am I just making this up? Do you only treat when things are going well and everything is hunky-dory? Here's something here. Am I on the same page with you guys here? Or do you find a time, you find yourself treating, oh my God, help me, this really stinks, what's going on right now. And you don't care, you just want it done, gone, out. I know that was true for me for a really long time. And so I started looking at what it would mean to stop wanting to fix stuff. And the first thing that occurred to me was that means I had to accept what it is I had. I had to actually embrace what it is that I thought stunk that I wanted to get rid of. Now, some may say, hold on, Reverend Cliff. If your sink is leaking, don't you want to fix it? And I would say, yes, but then it may get broken again. If you replace the sink, sooner or later it's going to get broken anyway because that's what sinks do. But we're not talking about sinks. We're talking about our lives here. So go fix the sink. But the difference between rectifying and transmuting, just so we're clear, is the difference between a disease going into remission and being gone. That when you go about wanting to fix, the best you'll get is that disease will go into remission. It is not till I recognize the difference that I actually experienced the doctors telling me what was going on with me was gone. By age 12, I had something called ulcerative colitis, which meant my intestines were cut and bleeding like crazy. By the time I was in my 20s, have I told you guys this story before? I repeat myself here? I know I do sometimes. By the time I was in my 20s, the doctor said there was so much scar tissue down there that it was no longer a matter of if I got cancer, but when. Because there was so much precancerous stuff going on in my intestines. After I'd been in this teaching for about 5 years and been working with some holistic healers to really shift my way of life. You know why we have Qigong going on here in yoga is because shifting our way of life can be an incredible, shifting our diet. Matt's talking this afternoon about diet. These things are powerful tools to do more than fix, but actually shift and transform who we are in life as well as treatment. So I did all those things. I was doing yoga. I shifted my diet. I got deep into spiritual mind treatment, not to fix what was going on, because I was in remission. And after 5 years, I went back up to New York where they did the same tests they'd been doing on me for 20 years, or at that point, I don't know. Yeah, about 20 years. And they said that what they saw was impossible. Because the scars were gone. It wasn't just that the scars had healed, they were gone. They said they showed me the photographs, the before and after photographs. They said, here's the photographs we took of your insides, 5, 6 years ago. Look at how all the scar tissue, all the precancerous polyps, all this stuff, look at it now. It's as if there was never anything there. That's impossible. Are you sure these are your photographs? So I called my acupuncturist and the people I'd been working with, and I said, check this out. They said it was a miracle they're gone, right? And they said, well, get those photographs, so before and after photographs. So I call them up the next day. You know what the doctor said to me? These are digital photographs, by the way. They said they lost them. They were gone. They didn't know how that happened. They were really sorry, but they were gone. So I can't stand, when I stand before you and talk to you about some of this stuff, it's not theory to me. This has been my life. And so because I know that's true, I know what can be true for you. I know the miraculousness that's possible. I know the miraculousness that we can all go through. So what you want to know is, that you're willing to move forward. When I got into this, I had no clue it was going to work or not work. The whole idea of find a way. And so I am very deep in the science of mind principles. But I found that one of the greatest things I can do for myself is simply take a walk. Because I wanted to, that work, before I treat, I go take a walk. Because the first thing you want to do is calm your mind, right? If you want this stuff to actually work, it's got to go, as I've said before, from here to here. So it's not just changing your thinking, it's changing your feeling. So what do you do to change the feeling so that when you're treating, it actually gets down into your heart so that you're actually feeling it instead of just saying it? Because after we're feeling it, it's got to go down even deeper to that place of knowing it, and poof, that's when it shows up. And what we got to know is not that we're trying to fix the thing we're trying to fix, but somehow rise above that to know that whatever we got going on, this is just on this plane. There are higher planes we can be at, and when we can recognize that all this stuff is just stuff, and that what's actually above it all is what actually transforms, that's when life transforms. When we get to that place. But I know for me, I can fall into a deep place of complaining. Maybe you never do. Maybe this is just me. But I can fall into a pretty deep place of complaining about stuff. My wife will be happy to verify that. And the key for me is then to pull myself out. To find a way. To pull myself out of that. So I ask you, what do you do to find a way? How far are you willing to go? How deep is your commitment? Because I got to tell you, my commitment is to the core, to find a way each and every time I fall into that pit of hell. There's a great statement that I heard through Unity, which is that, most people go to church because they're afraid of hell. People who are in New Thought movements have already been there. I know I have. And still sometimes wind up there and then got to pull myself back out again. Until I remember. And so the first thing you want to look, and discipline is a really interesting thing for me personally, okay? Discipline is really important in this movement, and one of the things that I have personally discovered is that I have some disciplines and not others. And so I work on strengthening the disciplines I have rather than getting on my case for the ones I don't. I recommend you take a look at that. We all have certain disciplines we're actually really good at, but we tend to focus on the ones we're not good at and think that that's where we need to put our attention rather than the ones we are good at. I'm really good at looking for inspiration. I have a discipline of it. I love being inspired. I have a passion around it. And so that's a discipline that really works for me. Instead of trying to force myself to do stuff, I go with the discipline that works, which is going for the inspiration that lifts me up. And one of my inspirations is poetry. So I got a Rumi quote here for you. What hurts you blesses you. Darkness is your candle. What hurts you blesses you. Darkness is your candle. Because transformation does not rectify, it transmutes. You see how those two fit together so well? I love that. I love when stuff comes together that way. Where am I here? So you want to try anything at all that will inspire you, lift you up, pull you out of whatever is holding you down, whether it be an illness, or it be a loss of a job, or it be a loss of a relationship, or whatever the circumstance is. What are you willing to do to lift yourselves up? Try anything. This is an amazing place of support. We have practitioners here, ministers here, classes, all kinds of great stuff goes on here all week long. I have people now who just show up in my office during the week and ask me for treatment. I think that's a great way to get support. We have people who call here for treatment. We have people in classes because that's a great way to get support. Try anything. That Qigong class, I'm going to be in it. The yoga class, I'm going to be in it because I want that support. Come join me. Let's get healthy together because these things really work. And because I got to tell you something right off the bat, I am only interested in what works for me. So you have to find what works for you and find a way. Find a way to quiet your mind. Find a way to know the truth. Find a way to lift yourself up. And don't stop until you do. It's worth the effort. I got to tell you, once you do find that way, it's totally, totally worth it. And I'm here as your coach. Tricia is here as your coach. We're here to coach you. The practitioners are here as your coaches to lift you up, to find that way, whatever it takes. Keep moving forward. That's how the guy found the 4-minute mile, beat the 4-minute mile, that everybody said was impossible. That's how, right now, I read this article last night. There's this theory in quantum physics that it gets proven over and over again since the 50s, that if you take two photons and you shoot them in opposite directions that have been entangled, you do anything to one of them, the other has an instantaneous reaction, faster than the speed of light. It's called non-local communication because it's faster than the speed of light. The Chinese just took a satellite in space and did the same test from space to the Earth. And even at that distance, it worked. But what they did was even more extraordinary than that. They sent a message. Now, they sent about a library worth of a message, and what got received was about a sentence of it. But still, They sent a real communication through what faster than the speed of light, all the way from space down to Earth. They have no clue how to make it so that the entire library gets there at this moment. But they are determined to find a way to make this a real live way of communicating throughout our planet. They call it the quantum internet, because it will be faster than the speed of light. This is what's possible when we are willing to do anything to find a way. That guy who ran faster than a 4-minute mile, there was nobody there to tell him how to do it. But he found a way. Impossible stuff happens every single day from people who are determined to find a way. I hold that place for each of you. I hold that determination for each of you. Hafiz tells us this place where you are right now, God circled on a map for you. No matter what your circumstance, God circled it on a map as your opportunity to rise up. Let's do that together. Thank you. I love you. All right, prosperity acceptors, come on up. All right. This is the time I ask you to give. I ask you to give deep, deep, deep into those pockets, because what you give, you receive multiplied abundantly. This is how the universe works. You want to get this universe moving? You want to get your flow moving? Give, because it is in the giving that the receiving occurs. If you are not giving, you are cutting off your own flow. So take out what you're going to give and hold it in your hand. Don't crumple it up, uncrumple it and hold it in your hand, knowing that this is how the universe gives and receives, knowing that this is your gift. And as you're holding it, repeat our prosperity affirmation. God is the source of all supply. Money is God in action. What we give, we receive multiplied abundantly. All that God is, I am.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.